All right, I think we are live here. Hey, everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and I'm pretty well caught up on stuff today. Just have a little housework to get done, so I thought I'd do two of these days. The morning one was a little slow. It didn't really get that many views. Early afternoon ones like this tend to do a little better. Although this is weird, no one's in yet. There's someone. So while this fills up, going to remind those of you who jump in later and see these, because that's how most people see them. Please remember to subscribe down below. Join my Orc Army with the channel membership down below. Follow me on Instagram and my other social media, and use my Amazon affiliate link before you make purchases. Would be greatly appreciated. Well, you might have been the first person, Lacey. I'm not sure. Were you number one? You got to type first. That's important. You got to reach up and type first in all caps. So we're up to 11 people. That's not bad for the first minute. I'll see if we get any questions. Humanity, no more silly questions of basic stuff that you could look up already. We're not going to talk about, does protein go through gluconeogenesis? Yes, it obviously does. We don't need to discuss the thermic effect of fiber. I think you're trolling me, bro. I think you're really trolling me at this point. You're worried about the thermic effect of fiber. Come on. Which incidentally would actually depend upon fiber subtype, but you aren't eating 1,000 calories of fiber a day. Trust me, if you ate enough fiber to have a thermic effect, you would not be happy. Your life would be living hell. All right. That's assuming you didn't die in the first week. All right. Benny, my orc, says, thanks for these lives, coach. They really make the day go by better. I appreciate it, brother. Yeah, this one should go a little better. It'll fill up quicker due to the time. Just got my SSB and maxed on the box on it for the first time. Is it normal for the safety squat max to be a lot lower than a normal bar? It's abnormal for it to be close. So yes. Jason, last year you showed a video. Marco, but that was only one guy. And I explained before, it was because he was running Conjugate and he lacks equipment. Right? He lacks the equipment to do variation. So that's why he did that. But I don't think that's why they're asking. Because you don't see me ever program Xerxer lifts. The only time you saw it was a random max effort lift for Justin, actually, who doesn't run Conjugate anymore, by the way. He doesn't have the equipment to really do it optimally. Hey, Jason, would a woman be able to efficiently run 5-3-1 on a 3-day routine given they need more? No. Garrett, they can handle more volume. That doesn't mean they need more volume. Now, that being said, if it was a concern, add another set. Okay. So if you think a girl needs 10% more volume than a man, add one set on each of the 3 days. Problem solved. One set of a single exercise. She's now achieved that. Exercises for injury prevention, specifically Achilles, no idea. Couldn't tell you, brother. Most injuries in the gym occur from overuse. Coach, I have a big speech tomorrow at a volunteer thing I do. You think the anxiety can affect lifts beforehand? It might. So learn to detach, Jordan. We need to be emotionally detached when we train. Keep your psychological arousal low. You already get a little oversight. Let's bring it down a notch. Calm, zen-like. Hey, Jason, I feel elbows pinch nerve pain when benching more than 100 kilos ever since I've gotten tricep tendonitis last month. Fix your tricep tendonitis. Stop doing the exercises that caused it, skull crushers or whatever you did that caused it, and start doing really high rep. And by high rep, I mean 50 plus rep band press downs and cure your tendonitis. That's how I cure it and my lifters who have it. And yes, I use the word cure as in it goes away. All right, another one of my orcs asked, hey, Jason, not sure if you've covered it already, but just wondering about your thoughts on the Larson press as a back offset movement when targeting chest weakness. Thanks for the live streams. Harry Ender, I'm going to say this in a monotone voice. I cover the Larson press every single live stream. Every single day, 7 days a week, I have to discuss the Larson press. I don't like it. I'm not a fan. None of my lifters do it. I don't prescribe it. Not that it's not a good lift or it doesn't work. I don't think it brings enough special to the table to justify the risk of pec tears. Just my personal opinion. Take it for what it's worth. I know some very successful elite benchers who love the Larson press. Mainly the real benefit of the Larson press is once you're a really advanced lifter and you know how to leg drive, you can't turn leg drive off. And it's the only way to get rid of leg drive other than doing a floor press. But, it comes to the question, do you need to turn leg drive off? I mean, is it really necessary to turn leg drive off to build your pecs? I had a cramp in my calf in the middle of the night. It's getting better as the day goes on, but I'm doing lower body later tonight. Any advice? Electrolytes, fluids? You are either overtraining or you're dehydrated. Tips on approaching women during the day, like at a coffee shop. You walk over and you say hello. That's it. You now know everything that you need to know to get laid. You can now throw away all your pickup artist books. You can throw them away. Done. You're now ready to have sex with 20 women. All right. Do you think Dan Green's opinion that front squats work well for building the legs and squats of long-legged lifters is valid? I don't see why front squats would build quads any better for long-leg lifters than back squats, biomechanically speaking. I like isolateral leg work, goblet squats, leg presses for them. Me personally. Not that I don't program front squats for some people. I like them, but it's not for that specific role. Hi, Jason. On step-ups for assistance work, would you push with the lower leg at the start? I can go heavier and more overload at the top, or make it super strict, but only push with the main leg. I think you're overthinking it. But why would you intentionally push with the lower leg? Aren't you trying to get that? You're doing a step-up because of the ability to get a deep squat position. How frequent and number of reps for band extensions and curls? You don't need it for curls for your elbows. You need the tricep extensions. One set of 50 plus reps a day is fine. Thanks for clarifying, Jason. You're welcome, Garrett. Jason, what's your thoughts on pre-workout? I think they're the biggest scam in the industry, and I think they do more harm than good. I think they're addictive. I think they're a waste of money. And unless you up the dose of your steroids to go with them, they will impact your results negatively because they hurt recovery and sleep. They raise psychological arousal, which impacts recovery. If you don't have the energy to make it through the workout, you need to fire the coach who wrote your program, period. Not put a Band-Aid on it. I do underhand bent over rows and T-bar rows from my back. Is that good, coach? If you want to tear your biceps, it's good. I think I'm going to give the cube kingpin, the kingpin. Humanity, I have no idea. I haven't read the cube in at least 5 years. I don't remember what's in it. I just know that it's a good program. Couldn't tell you. You need to go ask Brandon Lilly. You're in the wrong live stream. Can women handle more volume because they lift absolutely less weights? A woman finds its advance often lifts same or even less than novice males. It's less overall systematic fatigue due to less weight. Marco, if we use that logic, then wouldn't smaller, framed men not be able to handle the volume? It's probably a factor. I don't think it's the only factor, unless you've got some data I'm not aware of. Get rid of the trolls. Jason, is your merch available in England? I have no idea. I don't run it. It's a free service provided by a partner to YouTube for tiered YouTubers. It's done for us for free. I couldn't tell you. I have no idea. They just cut me a check every month. I don't know anything about how they run their business. Sorry. Is it true nutrient requirements go down as body weight goes down? Is there any way to know how much? Casper, I need more specifics. Do you need less calories by nutrients? Probably. Do you mean vitamins or minerals? And no. Jason, how can someone improve sleep quality without medicine? Most medicines to help sleep is prescription only in the UK. Yeah, I'm aware of some of the. You're in a messed up country. You can buy codeine over the counter, but you can't get melatonin. How messed up is that? But yeah, there's a lot you can do. Turn off all your electronics at night. Don't look at any lights of any type within 30 minutes of going to bed. That means your computer screen, TVs, turn them off. Sleep in a pitch black room. Keep it cool. Again, avoid blue light exposure in the late evening. Thoughts on the vertical diet? Great way for hard gainers to gain weight. What are your thoughts on high set singles on front squat? Not a fan. The guy I watch called Gravity Training, I don't know anything about other YouTubers today, says that astrograph squats are better for knee health, even if they aren't better rep for rep as squats below parallel. What do you think of this? Why? What's his logic behind this? You said you ran marathons before. Do you have any experience with shin splints? Yes, but I don't remember, Joseph. I haven't run in over 20 years, even a light jog. I only do GPP and stuff like that for cardio. I don't remember anything about running. Sorry, you're going to have to go ask a running expert. Is it okay? No, you shouldn't do front squats arm folded, humanity. You need it in a rack position. If you're not going to do a rack position, that you're doing it in the rack position so it will carry over to your Olympic lifts. If you're not going to do a rack position, then you need a harness. Okay. Arms folded is going to eventually risk hurting your delts. I'm not a fan. Jason, would you recommend going on runs or doing some sort of cardio during your rest days? I do cardio conditioning every day, monkey, almost pretty much 7 days a week. I just started doing vertical pulls and can 5 or 6 reps before failure. That is not a complete thought here. Hopefully going to get more as I get leaner. Would you say pronated, supinated, neutral grip is best for beginners at it? Well, it depends on how strong you are. Most guys are going to start out stronger with a supine grip. It's called a chin up, right? It's called a chin up. I'm assuming by vertical pulls, you just mean pull ups and chin ups then, right? But you're probably going to be stronger with a supine grip at first or a neutral grip. Pronated grip is usually weaker unless you have a really, really developed back. Hey, Jason, love your work. Recently hurt my knee while squatting, probably in correct form. Not a really bad injury that I feel normally, but when I squat again, what do I do now? Fix your form and fix your work, right? If you're getting hurt, there's a fatigue management issue, most likely, not just a form issue. Do behind the neck presses off the tracks work side delts as well as side laterals? No, it shouldn't in theory be quite as well as side laterals. Ben, I don't know. What do you mean impressive for powerlifters? What, Ben, what part of that do people not understand? I have told you guys for years and years and years and years and years and years. I stopped running the day I got under a barbell the first time. All right, I took up distance running to lose some weight, lost about 100 pounds doing distance running, right? Then I discovered the barbell. I never ran again the rest of my life. My first day under a barbell, I quit running. So there's no overlap. When I do pull-ups, chin-ups, I do from a dead hang, go all the way down and touch my chest bar. Is that range of motion too long? Depends on the person you mentioned. A lot of guys can't physically touch their bar. I would make sure, though, that if you're touching the bar, you're not rounding your shoulders to do it because that's not doing what you want. And that's a lot of biomechanics involved. Do you have to change your form to touch your chest to the bar, or is that where your lats, your scapula pinch together? And you might find as your back gets bigger that it won't do that anymore. So your range of motion is your range of motion. Hey, Jason, I'm not a fan of sleep, have nightmares. You think someone could still make gains on 4 hours of sleep? Nope. You need to just deal with it. Are you familiar with the coaches at Barbell Medicine? If so, do you consider them a good source of lifting advice? I used to be familiar with them. I don't know what they do these days. So I cannot tell you anything about their current stance, whether it's the craziest or worst advice in the vice or whether it's the best. I wouldn't know because I don't follow YouTube anymore. They used to be pretty good. I'm not saying I agreed with everything they said, but when I was familiar with them, they were, I would say, an above average source of information. Opinion on foam rollers and tennis ball peanuts. They can give you a placebo effect. If they relax you, then all good. Right? If it helps you relax, then it's good for recovery. Any concerns about re-injuring your shoulder now that you're doing chin-ups again? That's why I'm paying attention to what I'm doing. We should always be concerned about injuries. Be mindful of what you do. All right. Hi, Jason. Thanks for the answer. I was also wondering whether you'd notice weak point change over time for your clients as they get stronger, or are they pretty much the same from intermediate onwards? Depends on the lifters. Depends on the lifters. Some of them it changes, some of them it does not. Jason, currently doing 4-day boring but big. Is it all right to do wide grip pull-ups on upper day and then chin-ups on another? Sure. All right, that makes sense. Still impressive. You do marathons before lifting. I tried to run half marathon and couldn't even finish it. Ben, marathons aren't impressive. I know plenty of morbidly obese people who successfully run marathons. You just got to work at it a few months. All right. It'll take you about 6 to 9 months to be able to run one of practicing. Chronometer says I am consuming too much B3. Should I worry about it? No. I mean, novice lifters can handle more due to less weights, 5x5 3 times a week of very advanced. That's where my theory comes from, that women can handle more. Marco, but do you have data on it? Right? We don't want to work off of a theory that we don't have data on. It is probably a factor. But if you're going to work off of a hypothesis and you're going to program off of it, you damn well better have some data to back it. Be a good idea. Is buffalo bar bench good for bringing up your chest if you have a chest weakness? Possibly. So are dumbbells. So is pause benching with a wide grip. Jason, should I prioritize incline bench over flat bench due to upper pec weakness? What makes you think you have an upper pec weakness? Flat bench brings up your upper chest just fine. So why do you think you have an upper chest weakness? I'm not saying it's not helpful, but that's kind of an arbitrary thing. That's pretty rare. If you have an upper chest weakness, I bet you have a whole chest weakness. Which one's going to bring your bench up quicker to build your whole chest up? Which one's going to put more muscle on you to bring your whole chest up? You know, it depends on what's really going on. Again, people perceive what they think is a weakness that they may not really have. So I ask, why do you think you have a upper pec weakness specifically? Why is it just your upper chest? Have you done nothing but decline work your whole life? Never done flat bench? You do only steep angle dips or something? How did this occur? All right. Hey, Jason, okay. A client comes to you and says they have pain somewhere after training. What is the question? You ask them to find the problem. I need a lot more questions, James. I need to know a lot more of what's going on. That is too vague. But yes, we get into what's going on with their training. I'm going to ask them a lot of questions. Jason, do you still take in clients all the time? I took in a new one 2 days ago. Is Bagpuss still alive? Yeah, he's away in storage here somewhere. Does 531 or Conjugate work regardless of your sport, or are there sports where they are not ideal? I mean, building a strength base is building a strength base, Charles. Right? Jason, what's your opinion on fat-free mass index? I've got a friend who's been training for 7 months and has a fat-free mass index of 22.6. Doesn't seem right. How'd you come up with the 22.6? You get a DEXA scan? If it's not an in-body scan, I'm not going to accept that he's got a 22.6 at that point. How did you calculate it? If it was a caliper test or one of those the devices you stand on, you could be off by 30 pounds of muscle. Thanks for the answer, Jason. What minerals and vitamins should I worry about then? You're talking about if you lose weight? Are you the guy who asked about the weight loss? No, your vitamin and mineral needs don't go down just because you lose body weight. No, not at all. Jason, best exercises for shoulder hypertrophy already pressing. There are no best exercises for shoulder hypertrophy. Coach, I know you don't like overhead press anymore, but barring your personal biases, which is a better tricep exercise, close grip bench press or overhead press? Close grip bench by a mile. They're not even comparable. Will you ever return to conjugate? Why or why not? I've already said many times it's unlikely. James, I don't like to say never, but I do not intend to. I just don't feel the need. I feel my personality type is probably not the best programming for me. I'm not high strung. I don't have ADHD in the weight room. It's not necessary for me. Do you think there is some truth to the whole sumo type thing? I hear it's BS, but I don't know. All the evidence says it's make believe. Will more potassium help me drop water? It depends. I'm a 15-year-old powerlifter who has made significant progress using high volume programs such as Smolov. Should I continue to use these programs or switch to lower volume? Why don't you switch to normal volume instead of low volume? Thoughts on Alpha Destiny? I don't think about him at all anymore. Do you think a job that requires you to stand 10 hours a day would impede recovery? Nope, not as long as you get enough sleep and your food is on point and you're used to it. The first couple of weeks, it'll affect you, then you'll adapt. I know you said you have your skinny novices bulk 2 to 3 a month. Would you ever do more for someone super skinny? Whether probably not. Advantages between a weighted vest and a framed hiking backpack for rucking. The weight vest is more ergonomic and more balanced. I know you don't prescribe the 531 advanced template for anyone. Example, the 5x5 is 80%, 5x1. What's the disadvantage of this template? Too much heavy work, recovery. Why do you think your mood improves on keto? This is way too much biochemistry involved for me to go into why I think that is. There's a lot of medical data out there if you want to go look it up. But I don't think that we need to get into in-depth discussions of stuff that doctors and experts already talk about. I just fall into the category of people that mood improves on it. And it has to do with a lot of specifics with neurology. Hi, Jason. Glad to catch you. I didn't have a sled. Is wearing a weight vest or rucksack or walking my dog for half an hour decent GPP? Yes. It was determined by one of the devices you stand on. Appreciate it. Those devices don't have the ability to measure body fat. They have no science behind them. It spits out a random number. Your body fat could be actually 19%, and that device might say you're 9% or 29%. You have no idea to know which. Daily fiber quantity recommendations. I think it depends upon the context of your diet and the composition of your diet. It's not a set number. When programming lists for your clients as 5x10, 2 reps reserve, are the first sets all 2 reps reserve or just the last ones? Yes, in other words, you go sets across and you find a weight that you still have a rep or 2 in reserve on the last set. Following up on the closed grip bench press over question, if someone needs more long head, they need to do some type of extensions. How many hours of sleep do you get per night? I average about 9. Do you ever regret going so many years off of lifting knowledge that in your opinion is outdated and incorrect? No, because it's a learning experience. I've had to learn like everyone else. Daniel, people who live with regrets will never be successful at life. I don't want to be a loser. I want to be successful, so I don't think that way, and I'm going to recommend you don't either. Thoughts on high volume bench every other day? I think that will do your shoulders in eventually. Do you have a good orthopedic surgeon? Do you constantly try to add reps weight on each supplemental accessory movement? And when do you decide to rotate? Nope. I just try to generate appropriate fatigue and hope for a general upward trend. Is it a struggle to get enough volume for the pressing muscles on 3-day squat, bench press, deadlift, split? Nope. Why would it be? Travis, why would it be? Bodybuilders have been hitting more volume than most people can recover from, including them off of a single press day for decades. They've clearly shown it's not hard. Okay. You just walk in and do the sets. I mean, I suppose it's hard for some people to come in and work out and to actually do 10 sets of exercises. But for people who, are committed to training and who are used to it, it's not hard. Right? I convinced my friend to buy a home gym about a year ago, but he has been training in the gym for a decade prior. He lifts are still also. Is he hopeless? Yes. Don't worry about him. Would you take someone who is evidence-based, but do you even lift? Marco, no, I don't. And I actually kind of make fun of some of those people. Hey, coach, are compound lifts like standing, barbell overhead press, pull-ups, and squats are enough for core and obliques, or should I incorporate accessories? I think build your foundation. I think you need a little bit of core work, though. Do you like barbell complexes for GPP? No, they suck. I don't like them, but they do work great for GPP. So the word like means do I like them? Hell no, they suck. They're not fun at all. I'd rather drag a sled. But are they effective? Yes. If a person does not like to press on 5-3-1, could they swap it out for close get rid? You could just drop the whole press day and just have a bench day. I was watching some older conjugate training videos and you were doing insane amounts of volume. I have the same problem recently. Went to 4 movements, 5 at the most. Yep. And that held me back on my benching a lot. I overtrained all my benching muscles. Do high carbs negatively impact mental clarity? Depends on the person. I don't have a mental clarity issue on high carbs for the right types, but I don't have the mood enhancement that I get from ketosis. Advice for lifting in hot and humid conditions. Also, electrolytes be useful in these circumstances. Yes, hydration is everything, and that includes the salts in your diet. Any lifting advice for flat-footed people? No, I have none. As a female who is 5'2" and 110, what would be a good goal for basic strength? To keep getting stronger, Lacey. What are your strength levels now? All right. I mean, I would say good goals for strength, a 1 plate per side bench, 2 plate per side squat, 3 plate per side deadlift. I think healthy young women should be able to achieve those numbers. Do you think squats are essential for big legs? They're not essential, but they make it a hell of a lot easier. They're essential for your overall strength. Can one do conjugate even without specialty bars or bands or chains? I know it's not optimal. Here's the question, RNO. Can you do it or should you do it? Okay. I could shoot myself in the foot right now. Right? I would have no problem. I've got a gun sitting right there. I could pop around in my foot, no problem. Question is, should I do it? Probably wouldn't be a smart idea. Now, I'm not saying the question you asked is that extreme. I don't think it's the best use of your resources in that case. Why do you think certain people are drawn to powerlifting versus bodybuilding? Power personality differences? That's way more nuanced than I care to get into here. It's definitely personality differences. Atomic, what about the people who do both? What's up with those people? What about the people who are in the top 0.5% in both concurrently? Instead of benching every other day, what if you alternate with push-ups, high volume? How about if you don't? Why do you think you need that type of volume and frequency? Arthur, what do you think that you're going to get out of it other than overtraining and overusing your shoulder joints? Do you want to get hurt or do you want to make gains? Which one's more important to you? I mean, some people enjoy hurting themselves. Some people like being injured. Some people want to be that guy who says, I used to lift a bunch of weight till I split my shoulder in half. But, back when I was younger, I used to bench press 350 pounds, right? Some people want to be that guy. And they want to be fucked up for the rest of their life as a bragging right. Okay. I personally want to be really, really fucking strong and not hurt. So, here's my question. Which of those is your goals? And you're going to have to decide that. Do you want to be that guy? If that's your goal in life, you want to be that old fat guy, that fat fuck who stands around and talks how much he used to bench 37 years ago before he dislocated his shoulder, then by all means be that guy, but I'm going to be making fun of you. Why don't you instead just get really, really, really fucking strong without getting hurt? Train correctly, right? Which of those do you want to be? It sounds like you want to be that beat up fat guy. That's what I'm hearing. Or you're not understanding that is what you're going to do to yourself. Jason, were those dead hang pull-ups good for your shoulder pain? Yeah, they were fine. I know you said the leg curl machine is trash. Well, let's be very specific. I didn't say it's trash. I says it causes active insufficiency and the hamstring, therefore dramatically reducing the hamstring stimulus. If that's the only kind of knee flexion exercise I have access to, should I still not do it? Yeah, then you don't have access to a hamstring device. You don't have access to an acceptable hamstring device. Just do Romanian deadlifts, stiff leg deadlifts. Good mornings. Is the average curriculum for an exercise science or nutrition degree too outdated to be considered a good investment? I think it is. Alan, former client, have you noticed a tangible improvement in your recovery of stress reduction since deciding not to engage in YouTube fitness trolling? I think we all need to cut negative. Oh, dude. Like if you notice the ones today, I didn't even respond. I just hit the ban button. You get quiet for a second. Pretend they don't exist. Yeah, dude, my quality of life is so much better since I ignore them. I don't watch any of their videos, none of their websites. I just ban them. And I ban anyone who sends me a message about them. People have learned that the hard way. They're like, Coach, you banned me. All I did was DM you and tell you that someone made a video. I'm like, yeah, and I'm going to ban you on this account too. You're disturbing my reverie. I actually want you to fucking die, not just be banned. I hope you die. Unfortunately, my ban button won't cause that. Thoughts on Karyoko's Grizzly? His strength is impressive, but he's absurdly fat, and he's going to die at a very young age of a heart attack. Not that his strength isn't impressive, but, this is not exactly what we should be aspiring to. Again, not to take away from the fact that the guy is insanely strong, because he is. I'll never be that strong. Are you familiar with Max Adia? Thoughts on him as a strength coach? To my knowledge, Max Adia is a good strength coach. Do you still believe in the 100, 200, 300, 400, 500 strength standards? No, and I've updated it already. 300, 400, 500, and be able to do 15 or more pull-ups. There you go. Gives you the exact same benefit. If I don't care about overhead press max, but still want to do it for delt volume, can the 531 sets be removed and just do volume sets instead? Yes. How strong do you need to get to see the health benefits of resistance training? Any strength gain at all will show you health benefits. Humanity, working out with resistance training for half an hour twice a week has been shown to have ridiculous, insane health benefits in the research. You don't have to be elite. Any strength improvement is massive for your health. Long-time subscriber here, 214. Oh, you're coming back a ways. Thank you for your advice videos over the years. I'm up to a 495 squat, 350 bench, 600 dead at 215 body weight, 6 foot tall, 26 years old. Currently on a 3-day split. There you go. Awesome work, brother. Hey, Jason, I started your novice program 2 months ago, but the Ramadan came up and it slowed my progress. Will you recommend a change in my program to be more suitable this month? Don't try to add weight. Just maintain. Just maintain the bar weights. You're not going to improve during the fasting. It's not going to happen. Lacey says, right now I strict press 85, snatch 100, clean and jerk 130, squat 175, deadlift 210, bench 105. You're off to a good start. Keep going. All right. You're doing well. Keep moving forward. Consistency. You'll get there. Coach, I'm the only person that takes advantage and does GHRs at my gym. I've never seen anyone else do them. Is this normal? Benny, you've done them. You know how hard they are. I've put clients on the GHR who were like, oh, these won't be that bad. You make them look so easy, coach. And then they can't do one. I deadlift 500 pounds. I can't do a GHR. Like, yeah, because you know, your hamstring the weakest link in your 500 deadlift. They're hard. They suck. People don't want to subject themselves to that. I don't even like them. I do them because I want deadlift records. If I didn't want deadlift records, you wouldn't see my ass on that GHR. Alan P., thank you for the donation. If you have both, any reason to rotate between flat pad bench and comp bench? Not necessarily. I'd say just do the comp bench. Unless you just really like the fat pad. I'm not a big fan. I don't see the point. What are the benefits of a wide stance good morning over the narrow stance? The muscles worked. The muscles worked. Wider stance works more adductor, more glute. Narrower stance works more erector, more hamstring. Are you still friends with Izzy? Yeah, I know Izzy. We actually chatted the other day in a DM. I haven't remained super in touch with him, but we talked on Instagram the other day. He had some kind words to say about me in public, actually. Do you have any clients who do rows on 531 inverted rows, seal rows? Yes. Jason, what will it take for the average person to look like they lift according to internet standards? You have to have trend. It's impossible to look like you lift on the internet without trend. I don't understand why the Squat University guy seems to get so much kudos. He's small, weak, and unnecessarily overcomplicates things. I happen to agree. Good physical therapist, but he's not a strength coach. It's funny. I also find that a lot of old men who used to lift in their younger years end up fat and eating a terrible diet. Yep. We call them those used to lifts. That's what I call them. Call them a used to lift. I used to bench 350 is what you call those guys. Any recommendations on Power Rack? Looking to upgrade soon. Rogue, man, I love Rogues. I love Rogue. But if you're on a tighter budget, I think Titan or Bells of Steel will work just fine. Do you think GH15's gear advice on the old Get Big forums was legit? Yes, for bodybuilding. Lacey says, I've got some booty, though. Yes, you do, actually. Any changes I should make to training when fasting during Ramadan? Again, go to maintenance training. Dude. You're not gonna gain muscle and strength during Ramadan. You have to accept that. Your biggest focus needs to be getting rehydrated every day because you're dehydrated. Salt, water. You're not gonna make gains. Doing 5-3-1 and I've stalled for 2 weeks on the bench. Should I lower the weight 10%? Yeah, I'd reset the training max. Maybe not 10%, 5%. Coach, can you explain how you got so good at GHR? I got really good at good mornings first, and then I built up the GHR gradually after that. I had to have strong hamstrings already to do the GHR. Right? Think of the sort of good morning weights you used to see me rep out. I mean, I used to do work sets with 225 for rep work with the safety bar before I even got the glute ham raise. And then I had to start with lighter settings, the easier settings, and build it up. I had to build it up. And dude, it still hurts. Like even today, I get hamstring cramps after the GHR. Like if I try to do one of these live streams the same day as my deadlift day, I have to sit here with my legs locked out in front of me. If I bend them, I'm screwed. I bench 2 times a week and I didn't really gain any strength or size. And now I am high frequency bench. That's why. Arthur, you need to go back to what we looked at. I don't think that's necessarily your solution. Do you think a 135 bench is attainable in a year for females, or does that take long? It's going to take longer, dude. It's going to take longer for most women if they're not genetically gifted or at a higher body weight. Well, Not maybe advice, but the truth about gear and bodybuilding. Yeah, no, GH15, I think, had it pretty accurate. Any tips on getting hired by a strength coach with a wait list? It is just a waiting game, or anything we can do to get taken on. You just have to wait, man. Some of them you might be waiting a year or two. Have you been in touch with Pete Rubish? He said some good things about you in a recent podcast. I haven't actually been lately, but we do have a very good mutual friend who has passed the word back and forth a little bit. So I am aware of that. I've always liked Pete. I haven't talked to him lately, but I have always respected Pete. And I like Pete because he's just a down to earth guy. He's a no bullshit type of guy. And he's just a straight shooter. Like Pete Rubish just doesn't bullshit you in any way. And I actually admire that in him. He just tells things like it is, like kind of unfiltered. I respect that. Plus, the dude is strong as hell. Plus, we share similar religious beliefs. That helps too. Should a stance as wide as one can comfortably be taken to use the belt squat machine? Yeah, if you want the most hypertrophy. I'm 33, which isn't even old, but most of my peers who lifted in their 20s stopped lifting. Yep. Is it luck of the draw that some people gain weight in their face first? I have no idea. I did the same buildup on my good mornings, then did the GHR. Yeah, that's what I had to do. If someone can sumo over 800, what do you think they can conventional? Ben Rice, for example. Depends. They might only conventional 700. They might conventional 850. You have no way to know till they start doing conventional to compare. Jason, do you think powerlifting will ever surpass bodybuilding in popularity to the general public? I don't think it's far off now. Your old videos in the ice cream fitness dungeon were badass. So which one do you mean, that the storage unit, or you mean the old garage in the UK? What is your favorite era, powerlifting era these days of efforting? Rush, go back to the early 2000s were awesome. Atomic, I'm going to be honest with you. I did like that era, but the current scene is kind of cool, mainly because it's so big. Like the current scene now, here's the difference, I would say, having jumped back into it, the sport is way bigger. The sport is way bigger. It's a lot more competitors. The meets are big as hell. And there's lots of them. 2, the judging criteria is getting strict. Like they're judging, like at least USPA is just as strict as the IPF used to be. Like everyone used to talk about, and oh, the IPF is so strict. Dude, the USPA is just as strict. Now that threw me off at first when I got red lighted on my opening squat, and then I sank the next one ass to grass. Right, that threw me off a little bit, but I was impressed professionally and as someone who used to judge powerlifting meets. I was impressed by how strict it's gotten. Like your lifts really do count. There's no bullshit lifts getting passed. It's a different world, dude. It is a different world. Like I kind of like it. I think it's good for the sport. Pete Rubish made an informative video about controlling runaway inflammation. He uses various antioxidants, such as turmeric, to stop joint inflammation and hinder training. What do you use to do? I don't think turmeric. I'm not going to get into turmeric. I don't think turmeric is actually a good idea. And it has to do with the low quality of the way all of it that we're getting is available. I like fish oil, right? I like keeping refined sugar to 0. I'm going to tell you right now, if controlling inflammation is important to you, table sugar and high fructose corn syrup, 0. Cut them out of your diet completely. Omega-3s, diet high in antioxidants, like in actual antioxidant foods. How important is food quality for injury prevention? I kind of see the above. You can control inflammation, you can get lower injuries. Dietary fat's a big deal, and so are protein, though, for injury prevention. What do you do with clients who can't reach a parallel squat to save their life? Goblet squats, unilateral work. We fix it. Goblet squats, we work on teaching them the technique. It's almost always not opening their hips up enough. They usually don't have their toes out enough if they can't do it. right? If you don't have the mobility to do it with toes forward, those toes have to come out. You've got to learn to drive the knees out to get external rotation to the hips. That also means a lot of them need to learn to push their ass back. As a strength coach, 30% of my job is telling people to push their ass back over and over and over. Like that's literally a third of my job. Just telling people to push their ass back like a broken record. Push your ass back, push your ass back, push your ass back, right? That's like literally a third of my job. Collagen supplements useful or a waste of money? Some promising data. I'm undecided still at this time. Why do you think a lot of elite powerlifters still do minimalist training to failure despite the fact that this beats you up way more and has a higher risk of injury? How long do they stay elite? Humanity, I've had no contact with Jim Milner at all. I've never spoken to the man. Since you have a big channel and a big online presence, you have female influencers in your DMs after they see what you can lift and want to grow their channels. Yes. However, I have certain rules of behavior that I follow, and so therefore they don't get the desired results. I have female influencers who are friends, and I keep it at that. It is none of your business, Big Daddy, what TRT protocol is. But I'm going to ask you a very simple question. What in the holy fuck makes you think I'm on TRT when I'm going to Worlds and talking about breaking world records? I want you to think about that for a minute. I want you to think about how silly your question is. TRT? Jesus Christ, you're a naive kid. I'm sorry, but you're naive beyond words. And I'll just leave it at that. But it says #natural, so I don't know what you're talking about. Like champions on TRT. Yeah, no such thing. Or do you mean champions taking 10 times TRT? Is that what you're talking about? 20 times TRT? 50 times TRT? Nobody winning on TRT, motherfucker. Did you enjoy socializing more with people in the UK or not versus the US? The US, like what? Did you socializing in the UK? Everybody's drunk all the time. There's a lot of yobs there. I'm not saying there aren't some good people in the UK, but no, man, as a general rule, I prefer socializing in Texas more. I did meet a lot of good people in the UK, but it's definitely a different culture. In the storage unit, you were doing squats every day. Yep. I remember that. That was definitely old school. Do I need carbs at night? No, not necessarily. How does training at 45 feel compared to when you were in your late 30s? You have to watch your tendons a lot more. Tendon and joint inflammation will get out of control real fast if you are not careful. Overuse is a big issue. Diet is more important than anything. Really, fatigue management and diet. You don't have the same leeway with your diet and recovery. And I've noticed this. I've noticed this with clients. I've noticed this talking to a lot of other masters lifters. It's just the way it is. You don't have that same type of wiggle room you do in your mid 30s. It's just a totally different game. And then you're 20, like in your 20s, you're pretty much bulletproof, dude. Somebody could shoot you and you could deadlift 650 5 minutes after taking a bullet, probably. Like you're indestructible at 23. Literally, dude, someone could just hit you in the head with a sledgehammer and it wouldn't even affect your lifts. You'd jump off roofs and shit. You're basically superhuman at that age. Those guys are going to be in for a rude awakening when they hit 40. Why does equip lifting have such loose squat depth rules compared to raw? Well, it doesn't in some feds, and that's where they get screwed. Mainly because they can't, Benny. The problem is that some of the suits and the wraps are so tight that with 1,200 pounds on their back, they still can't get to parallel. Benny, have you ever put a squat suit on? I have. Just go get a single ply suit. See if you know a guy who has one that'll fit you, and just put it on and try to sit down with 225. Put 225 on the bar and just see if you can sit back. You'll understand. And you're going to bleed, by the way, after doing that. You're going to be all sliced up. Hello, coach. I just tried melatonin 3 milligrams today. I felt really strange, weird hangover light. Do you have that? Yeah, you need to cut the dose back a little bit first. My low back is fatigued during the 5x10 squat. Possible causes and solutions. Your lower back is out of shape. If someone wanted to, people like you do, how does one build up their, sorry, burping here, guys. I ate a lot of protein. Build up their clientele. I know you recommend coaching for free to start. That's the best way. That is the best way. Hey, Jason, have you noticed a trend that influencers are now admitting to use, but only admitting to TRT? No, I was unaware of that, Alex, because I don't follow influencers. Really? Because last time I heard Larry Wheels admit his dose, it was, and I quote, 1.5 grams of testosterone per week. This was a decade ago, before he got real big. Okay. 1.5 grams of test every week is what he admitted on video. That's 10 times what you just listed. And he was using 150 milligrams of anadrol every single day. So he went from that, and now at 50 pounds more muscle, he's on TRT. That's fucking funny. Wow. All right. If he really said that, actually, I'm not going to slander him. I'm not going to say the words lying piece of shit. But you don't go from 2.5 grams down to 150 milligrams and gain 50 pounds of muscle. That's not how it works. Just going to say, I don't think that's likely. Reason why people are weak in commercial gyms, because they don't know how to train. Hey, Jason, any thoughts on tart cherry extract? I don't know what that is. Do you take any Tylenol or other pain meds when you overdevelop shoulder issues? Nope. I don't want to put a Band-Aid on it. With my current strength, I'm capable of breaking state records in my age and weight class, and I plan to do so soon. Do you think it's within reason for me to break a world record at some point, Judas? Not necessarily. You need to look up what the world records are. When training upper, lower, or full body 4 days a week, I wouldn't train full body 4 days a week. What do you think about training Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday versus? I think it's personal preference. Would you be at your strength levels today if you hadn't been overweight, bulk hard during previous years, despite it being unhealthy? Probably not. Nope. I got muscle memory from that to work off of. That puts me in a better position. So there's a reason I say, CN, yes, there's a time and a place to get lean, and I'm going to continue to get leaner. But you have to build a base, or you're never going to get anywhere. It's a process, and everyone wants everything all at once. And I'm sorry, that's not how it works. Coach, I get intense lower back pumps and cramping after the back off sets on squat day on 531, a sign of poor lower back work. But yeah, your lower back is out of shape. Fix it. Do you think you will ever work deficit deadlifts back into your training for rep work? Maybe. I don't dislike deficit deadlifts, Raj. I don't dislike them. I think they're good. I just don't currently see the need for them in my training. Okay. I actually like deficit deadlifts. Reason behind lifters obsessed with machines, because they're lazy. Any idea why someone who's bulking should stop? Is it based on what they visibly are getting too pudgy or have hit their lift goals? Health. Maybe not wanting to be at too high of a body weight. Maybe they don't want to be that fat for visual reasons. Maybe they don't like the way they feel at that high of a body fat. Maybe they're concerned with health. There's lots of reasons to stop your bulk and then trim down and go back up. At what age, on average, will most men inevitably need TRT? I know this is individual, but assume most men over 60 will probably need. Marco, like 50% of men over 35 actually medically qualify in America. Yep, the new natty is TRT, bro. Even though these guys are using grams, you now have Jay Cutler saying he only used 500 milligrams of test to win the Olympia. See, Alex, this is another reason why, by the way, I don't even say TRT, because if I jumped up and said, hey, guys, I'm on TRT, everyone jumps up and says, so why don't you look like Ronnie Coleman? Why don't you squat 850 pounds? Right? So that's why I just use hashtag natty. See how easy that is? But I mean, realistically, joking aside, anyone who thinks I'm on TRT, lifting what I lift at my age, gonna be in for a rude awakening at 45. For MMA competitors, is 5-3-1 superior to Conjugate? I'm thinking 3 days a week will give them more time for technical training versus a 4-day split. Actually, Alex, I take all that back, bro. I'm hashtag natty. I'm Instagram natty / YouTube natty, bro. For MMA competitors, I don't think one is necessarily superior. I think it's personality type, what equipment they have access to, what they're doing, what they're training. I could make either one work. Let me put it a different way. I have successfully used both methods for fighters. I don't think one is necessarily better than the other. I think the programming is different, and I think the mindset behind them is different. I don't like to do Conjugate for some people because I can't get people to stop trying to hit true maxes. That's my biggest complaint. One reason I shy away from it more, they won't execute it correctly on their own. And if I give them hard percentages, like we do with the other types of blocking and concurrent programming, like with 5-3-1 and spinoffs of it, I can control their lifts better. I can't do those percentages if we're rotating lifts every week. I have to tell them a rough amount of exertion and that I want them to give, and they won't follow through. It's people who will not be compliant oftentimes when they're left on their own, and I can't coach them in person. And that's the biggest problem. Like I would coach Conjugate a lot more for people if I was there in person to scream at them when they try to add another 10 pounds to the bar when they're supposed to stop, instead of them filming it and sending it to me an hour later. In one of Mikey's vlogs, you had him doing closed grip bench against bands for rep work, not speed work. Do you recommend that for people lagging triceps? Maybe. I think there's other alternatives too, though. If I've been sick for some days and haven't been able to eat enough food, should I eat extra calories the following day and week to compensate? Nope, you need to compensate. Would be good to meet you, Coach Dean. You come and do a meet. It's the only place you're going to meet me. Unless you bump into me randomly in airports, which people get pictures all the time and put it in their Instagram stories. Hell, I pick up new followers that way. People see me and ask me, what do you do? You're stacked. And I pick up new followers and show them my online stuff. They're all talking about low RD supplements by Trenbolone sandwiches and Skittles. Yep, and the hashtag Natty leads the body dysmorphia. You know how guys saying Reg Park was small and didn't look like he lifts. Yeah, Reg Park wasn't even natty. He was the most massive and strongest enhanced bodybuilder of his era. Thank you for the thorough responses to my questions. You're welcome, brother. How would you structure squat, bench, deadlift day 3 days a week programming someone who can lift on the weekends, but only one weekday, as in which sessions? Yeah, you're going to need to definitely do the bench and then the deadlift probably if you're going to do them on the weekends that way. All right, guys. We are closing in on the top of the hour. So I'm going to go ahead and wind this down because this is the second one of these you guys got today. So I hope it has been informative. I love all of you guys, and I will talk to you next time.